to meet you. We spoke over the phone, yes. I'm so glad you reached out to me. Um, Let me go ahead, just check you in here, okay? Give me like 3 seconds. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, let me go ahead and would you mind? Oh, thank you. I got it from the dollar store. It's nothing special. Would you mind signing in for me? Okay. Yep. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to tell you a little bit about me. So I am ASMR Low. I am not a licensed therapist. I am, I like to say, a licensed talker and listener, okay? What I specialize in is talk therapy. So I provide what you would call alternative therapy for people who feel that regular methods of therapy are not for them, or or they feel like regular therapy settings are not for them, or like medication. Just I provide an alternative form of therapy, okay? Which I like, which is titled as talk therapy. So a session with me, which this is our first session. So what you can expect in this first session is basically I'm going to ask you some general questions. I'm only going to ask you about 4 or 5 questions, and we're going to base the session off that. I'm going to gather some notes just like a normal therapist would, but where I go alternative is we're going to have more of a conversation about life, about your life. I'll talk a little bit about mine, and we're just going to kind of talk about life, and we're just going to have a conversation, okay? So clients that come to me are fully aware of this, like I told you over the phone, that this is an alternative form of therapy. I'm not here to listen to you to diagnose you. I'm not here to listen to you to medicate you. I'm not here to listen to you to ship you off anywhere. Not downing those forms of therapy. I just provide alternative form of therapy. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to talk, and we're going to talk for as many sessions as you want, or as many times as you want. We're going to talk about whatever you want, more so after the general basis, okay? So I have my notebook here. Okay, and so, like I said, the first couple things that we're going to go over are not alternative. They're pretty on course with normal therapy sessions, okay? So tell me, what was your childhood like? That's usually the first question I start off with, is what was your childhood like? Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you would classify it as a toxic mother. Okay. Emotionally unavailable father. Okay. You would say father, just family in general was emotionally unavailable. Okay. Hmm. Did you have a lot of friends growing up? Tell me a little bit about. Okay. You moved around a lot. Okay, so no. You had trouble making friends. Okay, but you did have friends. Got you. You were able to maintain a friendship. You just had okay. Okay. I'm so sorry. These glasses, I need to go get a new prescription. Okay, tell me about on a scale of 1 to 10. We'll get into this deeper as the conversation goes on. On a scale of 1 to 10, how traumatic was your childhood, just in general? So, a scale of 1 to 10, just all this kind of count the number of traumatic events. I know that sounds bad, but try to like on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank the traumaticness of your childhood? And it can include the toxic mother, emotionally unavailable father, family. You struggle with friend dynamics. So you okay? So you would probably say like a 7.5. Okay. Okay. And so, is there anything else pertinent to that about your childhood? Did you accomplish anything? Um, did you have? Was it you ranked your traumatic? You ranked your childhood as a 7.5 out of 10 in the traumatic side. So, was there any positives from your childhood? Okay, so you had plenty of good times. That's good. I like to hear that. We'll get into specifics a little later. You were accomplished, pretty accomplished for. And what was your background like? What were you? Did you play sports? Were you academically accomplished? What was it? So you would say sports. You went to a career high school, correct? Okay. So what was your pathway? Okay. So media, radio, and TV. So you were pretty accomplished in that aspect. Okay. I'll put media background. Okay, great. And what else? In church. So you were heavily involved with the church. Okay, great. I love to hear that. Okay. And so, what do you currently do now? Are you in school? Are you working a career? What do you do now? Okay. So you just work a customer service job. You would like to go back to school? Okay. I'm sorry, my pen is going out here. Okay, and do you know what major you would like to major in? You don't hear that pretty often. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so tell me, this is the last kind of general questions I'm going to ask, and we'll base our conversation off of this. What motivates you? Take your time. I know this question usually gets people. So you would say you've always been a spiritual person. So you would say just having strong faith motivates you. Okay, what else? Give me something. Give me something a little more. Your family. Okay, I like that. Your family. Don't don't take it. Don't when I say I like that. Don't take that. We're not talking to. You're not saying what I want to hear. Okay. That's just kind of natural for me. Okay, but please make this personal to you. What motivates you? You have a strong faith. Your family, and you just want a better life. Want a better life than what you want to create a better life for yourself. Okay. Yeah, okay. I have enough information, and I just do this to get to know you a little better. So let me look up this definition real quick. Get started. Tell me, what is your. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. If I asked you to define forgiveness for me, how would you define forgiveness for me? Okay, so if I say, hey, what is forgiving? You would say the act of forgiving or being forgiven. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna read this into something. Okay. Forgiveness is the act of letting go of anger and resentment towards someone who has wronged you. It can also involve pardoning the offender. Forgiveness can help you heal and move on with your life. Let me read a little bit more. What forgiveness is not. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting the offense. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Forgiveness does not mean excusing or condoning the offense, all right? And forgiveness doesn't mean you have to reconcile with the person who hurt you. And one more thing. Forgiveness can help you feel peace of mind and free from anger. Forgiveness can help repair damaged relationships. Forgiveness can help you recognize and heal from the pain you suffered. Steps to forgiveness are acknowledge the hurt, accept what happened, show compassion to yourself, make amends with the person you're forgiving, and learn from the experience and grow as a person. How does when I just read that to you, what ran through your mind? Okay, exactly. And I always, depending on when I heard, we haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes to you today about forgiveness. Do you feel? Let me tell you a little bit about me and my journey to forgiveness. I would say I was mad at the world. Did I have reason to be? No. But in my head, yeah, I was wronged by this person. I was wronged by that person. I was wronged by my family. I was wronged by friends. I was wronged by trusted people who were supposed to protect me as a child. I felt I was wronged a lot. And I grew a lot of anger and a lot of resentment inside of me. And I think that if people attribute anger to things that they can see. So if you physically show anger, or like punching holes through a wall, or turning red, or being quick to anger, quick to showing your emotion, I think that people are comfortable with that type of anger. But people might not notice when you are filled with anger and resentment, and you spend every last fiber in your being trying to hide the fact that you're so angry and you're so full with resentment. And so tell me, can you relate to anything about anger, resentment, slow to forgiveness? You can. I figured you could. Okay, so tell me, what are I asked you to define forgiveness, and I gave you a more textbook answer, not saying that you were wrong. I just, you know what I mean? So now, with your answer that you gave me and the feedback that I provided to me, tell me, how do you view forgiveness? Is it easy for you to forgive? Yes, exactly. Um, so basically, it's not easy for you to forgive. It's not. It's not easy to. It's not easy for to get you to show emotion or anger either. But you're not quick to forgiveness. Okay. Um, okay. You know, life has a funny way of repeating. This saying that if you don't learn your lesson, God has a funny way of teaching you that lesson over and over again until you finally get it. And yeah, in my life, and from what I can hear, your life too. You know, it sounds like we weren't getting the message. We aren't getting the message of how important forgiveness is, right? Um, have you forgiven your mother? I could tell you I probably understand a little more than you could think. I wouldn't classify my mother as a toxic mother because I don't think she would classify herself as that. Um, but I would say is that um, I definitely can understand having I can understand having family members that are, whether it's unwilling and non-knowing, just that they just don't understand the hurt and pain that they've caused you. So back to forgiveness. I um, I understand where you're coming from, and I personally have my own journey and struggles with coming to terms with that. I was angry at my mom. I was angry at her, and it would show. And I can distance myself from her, but she's my mother, right? Or she's your mother. You can distance yourself from her, but she's your mother. So whether it be God, whether it be fate, whether it be you, sometimes it's how the card falls when she would find herself back around you. If you have not forgiven her, when I did not practice forgiveness towards her, I was that anger and that resentment that I was able to push down out of the distance of her would just boil back over. And I'm distanced from her now. So I can't blame her. I'm distant from her now. And also the repercussions that I have to pay for this anger bubbling up and this resentment, it's spilling out. It doesn't affect what it used to because I'm distant from her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I can't blame the things, I can't use the same excuses. I can't blame the same things anymore. I'm not around her. I'm not around her anymore. I'm distant from her. So when I allow her back into my life or when I hold a conversation with her, that anger and that resentment boils up and it manifests in other aspects of my life that I am trying to protect from her. But really, it's no longer it needs protection from her. It needs protection from myself. Because again, that anger and that resentment that I have not dealt with is boiling over. So um, that's the first set of homework I'm going to assign for you today. Well, not homework. You know, this is a conversation. I want you to have a conversation with. You can have a conversation with yourself. You can have a conversation with a friend. You can kind of have a conversation with your mother herself. You can kind of have a conversation with anybody. I want you to open up a conversation about your mother to somebody that's willing, that's healthy, and trusted environment. That's why I say if you need to have it with yourself, have it with yourself. Document it, take notes, record it, and we're going to discuss it next session, our next conversation, okay? Emotionally unavailable father slash family. I'm just kind of do the same thing, okay? I want you to have a conversation. I want you to open up a conversation. I am a conversation specialist, but I want people really to heal. I want people to get better, and I think a lot of times people struggle from mental health because they're not dealing with their problems. So that's why I want you to bring that conversations outside of here. I'm here to have a conversation with you, but more so, I'm a talker first and listener second. I want you to get out and use the tools that you're learning from me in the conversation itself that I'm teaching you. I want you to take it outside, okay? So from the toxicity of your childhood, I want you just to open a conversation up about that outside of here, okay? Tell me, have you had a successful? What's the longest friendship you currently have in your life? Okay. Okay. No, I don't get paid to judge you. Oops, sorry. I don't get paid to judge you, but it's again, I can relate so much to that. And there's nothing wrong with how you feel. You shouldn't compare yourself to others, right? So just because other people have a group full of friends and they all have been friends for 10, 15 years, X, Y, Z, you cannot compare yourself to that because you don't know the dynamics of those friendships. You don't know what they've had to go through to be friends that long. X, Y, Z. Excuse me. Sometimes my conversation style makes me a little sleepy. But you can't compare yourself or your friendships, or you can't. I try not to cant on people. I try not to cant or shit on people. Be mindful, and I challenge you to look at it differently than besides, oh, well, they have friends from 10 years ago, so they're normal. And I have one friend who I have a semi distant friendship with somebody from X, Y, and Z amount of years. You know what I mean? When you start getting into that territory, that's when you start hurting your head, and that's when you start hurting your head inside, and that's not being nice to yourself. And that's when we start. That's when we know something is going on that we need to address. Okay, let's not compare ourselves to others. Let's not compare our dynamics to others. Let's not compare what they have versus what we have. What we lack versus what they don't. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you, you don't know everything. Okay, right. So you have a friend or two. I understand that. I do what I do, and I want to spread love, positivity, peace, things like that. I don't have like you just said, I don't have a friend to call my own. The friends that I do have best friends or have experienced pain from other friends that limits our friendship or that affects our friendship. I have traumas and pains and things that limit my friendships and things like that. But that's why I'm actively practicing correct forgiveness, not only of other people, but mainly myself. Take this with you if you take nothing else. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. You're here with me, they're somewhere living their life. Okay? It might sound bad, but it is what it is. Whoever, whether it's your mom, whether it's your family, a friend, somebody, a stranger that hurt you, somebody you thought you could trust that you met and that they end up hurting you. You're here right now with me. They are somewhere living their life, okay? We're not, what you're going through doesn't affect them, and that's okay to tell yourself. You're not here to forgive them, to give them a better life. You're here to forgive yourself. You're here to forgive them so you can have a peace of mind, so you can get your freedom back, so you can get your head, you can clear your head of those thoughts, right? So when it comes to friendships, if you have some friends, what I would say for your friendships, what I want you to do is I want you to write down a list of everybody who has ever considered you a friend, or anybody that you have ever considered a friend. And I want you to write a little short description of what happened. Why aren't you guys friends anymore? Was it your fault? Was it their fault? I just want you to give me a brief summary of that. And anybody that is your friend, I want you to write why they are your friend and what led you guys to be friends, okay? And bring that back in with you tomorrow. You said, I want to talk a little bit about you being accomplished. You said you were accomplished in sports, you have a media background from high school, and church. What do you mean by accomplished in church? Okay, you didn't really mean accomplished in church. You just kind of meant like you were heavily involved in the church growing up, and you got a lot of rewards out of that. Okay. Are you currently attending church now? Great. Not saying that you need to attend church, but it definitely helps. It definitely helps if that's something that helps you already, or something that you find comfort in. Yeah. Okay. Sports media background. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down all your accomplishments, anything that you consider accomplishment, okay? And I want you to write, what about accomplishing that made you proud of yourself? Or how did you celebrate this accomplishment? I want you to write down how you celebrate the accomplishment and how it make you feel when you accomplish that, okay? And that will be an accomplishment we get in towards down the line. Okay, that will be a conversation that we'll get into deeper. Unfortunately, we only have a 30. I understand a lot of people only book like a 35-minute conversation with me because they don't trust me. They don't understand what I'm doing. But now that you know, so I want to make sure I get through this. What motivates you? Your spirituality, having strong faith, your family, wanting to create a better life for yourself. If I ask you right now, what is the better life that you envision for yourself? What would you tell me? House, car, money, family, friends, family, clothes, jewels. What I want you to do, tell me what you want to do. Tell me what you want to be outside of, if you had to make no money from it, if you could become the richest person in the world doing it, or you want to make a dime from it. What is one thing that you could become the richest person in the world for it, or you wouldn't be able to make a dime? What is that one thing? What do you envision for yourself doing? You're a customer service rep. Do you always see yourself as a customer service rep? You said you would like to go back to school. I don't think that you want to go back to school to be a customer service rep. So tell me, what is it? What is your passion? What motivates you? We want to get into that. Okay. So I have this all written down. That's what I was writing down. There you go. So I want you to fill that out or rewrite it on a different paper. Do whatever it is that you have to do. But forgiveness. Forgiveness is heavily important, and I might not see you again, so I like to usually start off. I like to slip in a little lesson, a little preaching a little bit about forgiveness. Take care of yourself. And a part of taking care of yourself is forgiving those who you felt that hurt you. Again, doesn't mean you have to be besties with them. Doesn't mean you have to reconcile with them. It doesn't mean you can't express how you feel, however you see fit, right? Forgiveness, you're not perfect. And your forgiveness does not have to be perfect. It's more so about works more for you than it is for them, right? So, moving forward, I want you to be able to trust me. Maybe there's some anger and resentment, or there's something that's blocking you from trusting me, right? Or there's something that's blocking you from understanding 100% where I'm coming from. So let's really focus on cleansing our mind, cleansing our body, cleansing our soul. Let's forgive who we have to forgive. It's not going to be easy. I don't expect you to come back 3 days from now and be like, I've forgiven everybody. But what I know that you can do is you can write it down. You start writing these things out. You start, you open up a conversation. Talk to other people. Don't hold it in. Talk to people. Talk to yourself, even if you have nobody else to talk to. Start saying some things out loud so you can hear it and process instead of keeping it in. Start getting some other people's opinions. Start not comparing, but start talking to people who have probably went through the similar things. Figure out what they did, how they got through it, if they are. Figure out who's for you, who's good for you, who's not, based on how they react. Forgiveness is us taking our power back. We could stay victims if we want, or we can take our power back and we can move on. Yeah, you have plenty of good times, pretty accomplished. Write down anything you consider as a compliment. Tell yourself how proud of yourself that you are. But also, I want to talk about it. I want to get to know you, right? And I want to get to know you for who you are. I see you. I see you, right? I see you, and you have a story to tell. You're a customer service rep today. It sounds like you have bigger goals. So let's start chasing them. Let's get after them. But I don't know what they are, right? Okay. You're a spiritual person. You have a strong faith. Your family motivates you, even though you said that they are a part of a lot of pain. It sounds like that you already are absent-mindedly even wanting to forgive them. So your family motivates you, that better life that you want to have. And okay, I love that. I love that. Not only do you want to be the better life that you envision, being this better person that you envision. So that's a little bit of accountability, which let's focus on forgiveness, and then we're going to transition into self-awareness and accountability. I love to clump those together, because once you start knocking down those walls, those blockages of pride and ego, and you really start to become self-aware, and you really start to take accountability for yourself and not blame others. Forgive yourself. Stop blaming others. Take accountability. Become self-aware. There's nothing you can't do, okay? So take this paper, fill it out. I give every client this. It's an elephant. Elephants to me represent strength. The color purple is my favorite color, but I love what purple represents. Strength, royalty, beauty, femininity, just all those things and so much more. But I give everyone to my client. Yes, you're welcome. And it just shows that I love you. I appreciate you. And I do hope to see you again. I do hope to talk with you more, okay? All right. Yeah, so let me go ahead and end the session here. I do hate how technical things have to be, but it is what it is. All right. Yes. It was good to see you. It was good to finally meet you. Have a nice night.